So I'm out here in Morocco, and wait, how did I get here? There's already been multiple avalanches this morning in Colorado, and I need to get out of here, need to get to Morocco. Excited to get there, excited to see what's going on. Let's go. Well, that was fast. So I'm here on the main square in Marrakesh. It's a little crazy. First thing we need to do is find some money. So you can change your money pretty much anywhere in Marrakesh. Any bank, almost any ATM. At the airport, you're gonna get the same ratio no matter what, about a 10-to-1. First things first, gotta check into our place to stay. This nice, beautiful hostel, this riad, kind of off the main square. It's a traditional riad, so it's like colorful, open space in the middle with fountains. After that, you gotta check out the main square, Hamala Ethne, which translates to Assembly of the Dead. So the main square is just full of people, tons of stuff going on all day. And for the whole day, they got people giving out henna tattoos, they got monkeys, they have snake charmers, they have juicers, they have merchants, they have horse carriage rides, just this crazy busy square full of people selling tons of stuff. You do have to be careful. You know, you pay your beginner's tax, you make your first mistake, and that was with my friend who, he got like a snake thrown around him. And he brought him over by the snake area, and it was like our first vendor that we were in contact with. And the guy said 700 dirham, give me 700 dirham for like sitting with a snake for like 3 minutes. And I was just like, I don't know, that's crazy. But anyhow, he talked him down to 200 dirham, so about $20 he paid for sitting with a snake for 2 minutes because they're just so pushy. They're not going to give up. And that was just kind of what happened everywhere. People would throw monkeys on you, and by that point you just yell at them no, and they'll take it off. Like, you have to yell. If you just say no, they'll be like, nah, it's okay. If you have to yell at them or be legitimately mad or scared, and they'll take the monkey off of you. That is the only way to do it. It's never happened to us, but henna tattoos, they'll just like grab your hand and start putting a tattoo on you. The main square has kind of been a source of public entertainment since 1050 AD, when there was public hangings there, and hence the name Assembly of the Dead. At night, it turns into a street theater, just a whole bunch of little shows of acrobats, singing, dancing, and this guy who is singing and dancing with a chicken, a real live chicken on his head. But anyhow, the square has been like this, a place for locals and tourists to go for a very long time to watch these awesome shows. It's pretty cheap, a couple dirhams, but if you want to take a picture, expect to give more. And then from there, around there, you can go into the Medina. The Medina is like a crazy labyrinth shopping mall or market. It expect to be lost. I mean, you're gonna go in there and you're gonna be in there for like 3 hours and have no clue where you are, because the roads all intertwine and go to plazas and stuff, and the map doesn't make sense and nothing has a name on it, so you're just there. And then also, if you ask people, like, kids think it's funny to point you in the wrong direction, so don't ask young kids. Like, maybe a shop owner will tell you where you are. Anyhow, you can pretty much find anything you want in the Medina. You got people dyeing fabrics and making rugs, and you can buy sandals, moccasins, little games and chess pieces that are made right there. You can get food of any type. I highly suggest buying dates. The dates there are so delicious. You can buy lamps. All sorts of fun trinkets and stuff are back in the Medina. Anyhow, around the Medina, you got other museums and mosques and tombs you can visit. And then even farther away, you got the Royal Palace. Connected to that is the Sardine tombs and the Badi Palace. The palace is pretty neat. way back in like 1650s when the Sultan built it, the jester was joking and he was saying, "Oh, this palace would make a great ruin someday." And it did. Except for the fact that all the gold was taken away from it, but it's still a pretty cool ruin. Anyhow, that's Marrakesh. I spent about 2 days there. That's about all you need. That's enough city for me. So, with 80 dirhams, I booked a 4.5 hour long bus ride over the Atlas Mountains to Ouarzazate. Ouarzazate, the town itself, doesn't have too much going on for it. It is more of a base camp to get into the desert. The town is nicknamed Hollywood because of the Atlas movie studios that are there. And they film quite a bit of big budget movies there. From Ouarzazate, you can take a 30-minute taxi ride or grand taxi or however you want to get to the Tahrir Kasbah. And many people lived in these kasbahs, and they're built, you know, with defense in mind and an open space inside. It's pretty neat. This one particular one was used as a backdrop in Indiana Jones and like 13 other movies. I can't remember them all, but it's pretty awesome, and it's a great view, and for 2 dirhams you're able to explore and make your way up to the very top of the Kasbah there. It's a cool view. It's a cool place to explore. I really enjoy it. From there, you can hire a tour to take you all through the desert, or make your own way with a grand taxi. The difference is, you know, maybe 3,000 dirhams to 1,000 dirhams, and that's for like a 3-day trip. We took the route of 1,000 kasbahs. First, we went to Kasbah Armoradil. We were kind of shown how one works close up, even this cool, awesome old key, and you know, you can kind of see the difference between the restored and the original, and it's pretty neat just to kind of walk through one and get your own little private tour. From there on, you go up the Valley of the Roses, and if you go when they're blooming, you can get some rose wine. From there, we make it up to Datus Gorge, kind of famous for that old BMW commercial from like 5 years ago, flying up that pass. From there, we went to the Todra Gorge, and that's a beautiful area. It's an oasis fed by 3 natural springs, and you can just run around, explore by the river, run in the oasis. And there's also this huge amount of abandoned kasbahs that when the state of Israel was made, all the Jewish people that lived there just left these abandoned kasbahs, and they're just kind of there to explore. It's pretty awesome. Pretty neat area to run around in, and we spent the night there and had a nice view of the town. And from there, we went down to Merzouga, and on the way, we checked out the canals that they built underground that brought water from the mountains out to these oases, and that was pretty cool to see. But anyhow, we went to Merzouga, and that's where the sand dunes of the Sahara kind of start. So from Merzouga, we got on the back of this pickup truck. He took us to the edge of the desert. From there, we got on some camels, and after an hour-long camel ride, we are in the middle of these big, giant, beautiful sand dunes in the Sahara Desert, and it's just awesome. We hiked to the top of a giant sand dune, watched the sunset, go down, lunch is prepared, there's camp songs, there's people playing drums and singing around the campfire. Get a 4-wheeler if you want and go rip around the desert. There's plenty to do out there. Gets pretty hot in the day though. But my favorite part by far in the desert was getting up at 3 a.m. and just like watching the Milky Way just rise above the dunes. You know, no light around for miles, and just watching the Milky Way rise up. It was beautiful. And stayed up from 3 a.m. and watched the Milky Way, the sunrise.
and got back on the camels. From Merzouga, we took a series of grand taxis to Fez. On our way there, we stopped by a little town called Medelt. It's like an old mining town, and that was neat. I wish I could spend more time there because I like those towns that kind of off the tourist path. There's a guy selling food for cheap. You go to a butcher, you get some meat, and you bring it to this guy, and he cooks it up for you, and you eat this delicious meal right on the street here. And it was the best meal I've had the whole trip. Once we got to Fez, via our grand taxi, we went straight to the Medina, where we went to our riad hostel that we were staying at, which was pretty nice, especially for how cheap it was. It was a beautiful riad with a fountain in the middle. Then we got a quick bite to eat. Then we went traveling around the Medina to see the sights. Some of the big sights there is the Blue Gate, the entrance to the Royal Palace, the relaxing Boujalud Gardens. Kind of fun to see, relax by the fountains and all. You know, get away from the craziness of the city. Then there was the tanneries, which was interesting to see how they make the leather, and the donkeys carry out the skin on their backs and bring it to the hillsides where they lay them out to dry, and you can see them all over the hillsides all over Fez. That's pretty cool to see. And then you can go into the Medina and buy nice slippers and sandals and all this stuff made from the leather, and for a really good price, you know, the equivalent of $5 to $10. A quick hike from the Medina is the Borj Nord. It's above the Medina, kind of above Fez, with a beautiful view of Fez. Yeah, you can see the whole city from there, as well as sheep grazing around on the hillsides there, and more people with their leather. And that was Fez. It was a good 2 days in Fez, and we were off to the Blue City. So we arrived in Chefchaouen, the Blue City, via bus. The city is more just kind of in the mountains, the Rif Mountains. It's a beautiful area. The city is beautiful to walk through. The blue color is unique. You can go up to the Spanish Mosque, and from there you can catch a beautiful sunset. Or if you want, you can climb up the cliffs or the mountains above it and work your way to find a nice view. The best part of Chefchaouen was nearby. There's tons of national parks and beautiful hikes. For example, we took a 45-minute ride in a grand taxi, costing about 25 dirhams one way. It was to the trailhead of Akshur, which is a beautiful river and waterfalls. We got to the trailhead of Akshur and we started hiking up to these waterfalls. It's supposed to be about a 2.5 hour hike there and back, and the river is just beautiful. It's like green and clear, and there's many pools to just jump in and cool down in this immense amount of heat. And you just hike on up, and there's a few places where you see vendors on the side of the road selling cold beverages cooled by the river, and fresh squeezed orange juice, and some food made right there. And then you get up to this waterfall, and there's just this really tall, giant waterfall that just kind of comes down to this pool. And even though it's so hot out, that water is absolutely freezing because it's just mountain water. And that was cool. That was a fun experience.
And that's how I ended up here. Let's continue with the last step of this journey.
And so from here, I will go to Tangier, sit by the coast for a few days, maybe eat some McDonald's, and head on back home.
Finito, battery feeble. Low battery.
I hope you have enjoyed the video. If you want more info and tips on traveling, be sure to subscribe. Follow me on social media and check out my website, ryksvideo.com. If you want some sweet merchandise, there will be a link in the description below, as well as a link to the gear and equipment I use. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.